What up, what up, what up? Can you guys hear me okay? Microphone check, 1, 2. What's up, Anthony? What's up, Jason? You guys ready to get down with some of that replay crew? What's up, Anna? What's up, Marbles? Alrighty. What's up, Shane? So how many of you are familiar with the Sydney Loofe case? Oh, that's cool, Marbles. Good morning, Christine. Lori Clayton, what's up? Just a little bit. Not familiar. What's up, Steven? Well, there can only be one truth. I'm just trying to get close. How close can I get? What's up, Anthony? Heard of the case, but don't know much. Okay. So what we're going to do, well, let me kind of give you a little context about where I'm coming from with all of this. Well, I woke up early this morning and I really wanted to put a live stream together of cases where accused killers, the moment they were let out of their restraints or people who were caring for them let their guards down. I mean, the very moment these people would check their wrists, like, okay, kind of rub their wrists. And the next thing is a pen to the neck or some type of sharp object that they've kind of stowed away. So it does happen. And of course, I'm talking about Richard Allen and people saying that, oh, well, they're treating him like Hannibal Lecter. Right. Well, they're trying to protect him from himself also. So that made me think of the Aubrey Trail case. I don't know if you guys know much about that case. Well, the girl that you see to, I guess, right, all the way to your right, she kind of has a mole on her lip. That's Sydney. And while looking over her case, um, it was Aubrey Trail. He's a guy who tried to slice his own throat right in the middle of his trial. So we're going to look at that. Well, he's not only accused, he's confessed to killing Sydney. And I made a live stream about it and the connection to Delphi. And this is before Richard Allen and all of that. So I figured, hey, if I'm going to rewatch it, I might as well bring the sleuth crew and we'll just do a replay crew. I mean, you should hear talk about ritualistic killings. Yeah, I think we cover a lot in this. So this was put out sometime August 9th of 2022. So way before Richard Allen and way before all of that stuff. And this will kind of give you a look back into the past and exactly where we were at this moment with the case, right? What's up, Charlotte? Yeah, this is a very interesting case. Now, they didn't have a suspect in custody for Delphi or anything like that, so we were trying to make the connections, or at least I was. Not only that, I was trying to cover the facts of Sidney Loofe's case. It's a very strange case. So you think that the Delphi case couldn't get any worse as far as what we've seen? It could. I mean, Aubrey Trail, he fashioned some kind of a razor blade, or I can't remember the details, but he had a sharp piece of metal. And right in the middle of his trial, he yelled something out like, I curse all of you. I think her name was Bailey. I think it was the co-conspirator. And he said, Bailey's innocent. I curse all of you. And then he slit his throat. So you think this Delphi case can't get any worse? It could, by not protecting Richard Allen from himself. Well, so let's take a look at this. And then that's something you can expect in the future. That, and then I'm also looking into ballistics cases that were one with ballistic testimony from experts, and also some cases that were thrown out. So we're going to do a little bit of devil's advocate on that one. See, let me share my screen real quick. Okay, so a lot of people are asking like how somebody could be a defense lawyer and defend somebody even if they knew they were guilty. Well, the truth is you have to make a moral decision to kind of push that aside. So it's no longer about whether this guy's guilty or innocent. It's just about winning and beating the system, really. So this is what I think of when I hear that argument.
Maybe it was your time to lose. You didn't think so. Lose? I don't lose! I win! I win! I'm a lawyer! That's my job! That's what I do!
I rest my case. So that's what I think of. Wow, what a coincidence. How you doing, Susan? Oh, okay, we're playing. Sorry, guys. I was like, what the heck? Maybe we can start from there. Okay, so this is a replay from August 9th of
What a
2022.
coincidence. How you doing, Susan? Oh, yeah, this dude is a super crazy guy. You want to talk about creepy?
What is up, Marsh?
And I guarantee there's some skeletons in his closet that we don't know about. And lesbian. She had about her months long. Okay. The Nebraska couple accused of fatally strangling 24-year-old Sydney Loofe after wooing her on Tinder last year allegedly discussed selling homemade murder and torture videos. Anastasia
Snuff.
Galikova, who testified in Dawson County Court on Thursday about her months-long relationship with Bailey Boswell and Aubrey Trail, those are the people convicted of Sydney's murder, revealed the couple told her they believe they could make upwards of $1 million from these sinister videos. And this is what they testified in court. She also stated that she paid 3 psychologists to forget, what she heard during her time with these two heathens. Boswell, 26, is charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and improper disposal of human remains for her alleged role in the 2017 slaying and dismemberment of Loofe, a cashier at Lincoln, Nebraska home improvement store. What was the name? Menards. We don't have that where I'm from.
It's a funny name, Menards.
But I know that's in the Midwest. She worked at Menards. Yep.
It's like that word Uranus.
You haven't seen anything yet. Like I said, viewer discretion is advised. I'm not going to show any gory stuff. There's nothing gory, but just the things that are said, especially during court, during testimony, and some of these reports from the journalists and reporters. It's just not normal stuff we're about to go over here. So, yeah, that's what stuck out to me. I was like, okay, they kind of resemble the two sketches. They're traveling. Apparently he kills and says it's for power. He teaches his cult that if you can kill a victim and you're able to suck out their last breath, they will be your slaves in hell and it will provide you power while you're living. So that made me think of Delphi.
Let's go to this comment by Steven here. I don't think the round that was found will play too much into the case because he already placed himself there at the time. Well, yeah, that's one thing, There's nothing wrong with being on the trails. There's nothing wrong with him being there. What's wrong is if he's anywhere near that crime scene also. And that bullet is what puts him there.
This is about power to you. I always thought he meant somebody was doing something for ritualistic purposes to gain power.
What? Wait, what did I say?
Especially with the date being the 13th and everything.
Let me go back and
we don't have that where I'm from.
Let me hear conspiratorial sleuth. Hear what he has to say. August of 2022 sleuth sounds very conspiratorial.
But I know that's in the Midwest. She worked at Menards. Yep. You haven't seen anything yet. Like I said, viewer discretion is advised. I'm not going to show any gory stuff. There's nothing gory, but just the things that are said, especially during court, during testimony.
I think I went too far.
And some of these reports from the journalists and reporters. It's just not normal stuff we're about to go over here. So,
all right, here.
Yeah, that's what stuck out to me. I was like, okay, they kind of resemble the two sketches. They're traveling. Apparently he kills and says it's for power. He teaches his cult that if you can kill a victim
Cult?
and you're able
Ooh.
to suck out their last breath, they will be your slaves in hell and it will provide you power while you're living. So that made me think of Delphi. This is about power to you. I always thought he meant somebody was doing something for ritualistic purposes to gain power.
Ooh.
Especially with the date being the 13th and everything. Hey, Shanda.
Yeah, you got it, Charlotte.
Prosecutors allege Boswell conspired for weeks with Trail, her 52-year-old boyfriend, and lured Loofe to her
What's
death.
up, Brett?
Loofe was missing for 19 days after a Tinder date before her body was found in garbage bags scattered amongst ditches and farmland in rural Nebraska. July, Trail was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder after jurors heard from witnesses who said the 52-year-old convinced his cult members he was a flying, mind-reading vampire. Galiakova
There's that word.
also testified Wednesday that Trail claimed he was a vampire who had the ability to hypnotize people. Another woman who testified on Wednesday stated the 52-year-old told her he could fly. During Trail's dramatic trial, in which he cut his own throat and declared his girlfriend's innocence, he claimed Loofe was accidentally strangled during a sex party.
So this is kind of proof that early on when we were covering the Delphi case, we were interested in that ritual angle, right? Because of what we had found and what we had heard. But now that we've seen the supposed runes, I'm not sold on it. That's the only thing that stops me. Everything that stems from this new theory, the Odinites and things like that, it all has to do what was found at the crime scene. But when we look at mock-ups, we look at the Libby's tree with the what appears to be a handprint that if you wanted it to be an F, you probably could see it. But wouldn't it be much easier just to make an F shape? What's with all of the other smudging and what appears to be a handprint? How do you explain that away? Especially with the victim who had their hands covered in blood and were found at the base of that same tree. I mean, it only makes sense, right? And it was about 4 feet up. We know Libby was about 5'5", I think. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense. So I'm not sold that that is a rune or a signature or anything like that. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
So that should give you a pretty good idea of what you're about to see. Yep, butchers. Lakeside in the house. What's up? Exactly. Very sick. He didn't gain anything in the power. He didn't gain any type of power. It might have been about power, but he was just a dumbass. Dude was out of his mind. And the thing is, he tried to prey on Sydney Loofe. He thought just because, she liked to smoke pot and that she was a lesbian and that she was on Tinder, oh, she must be down and out and I can take advantage of her. So, he tried to do with her what he did with everybody else. But the thing is when she finally was aware of what was going on, she was disgusted by it. And she's like, I'm going to expose you. And he wasn't having it. What's up, Buddhas? Hey, Frank. What's going on?
What's up, Brad?
Okay, so this is the earliest actual report that came out on mainstream media. It was November 20th of 2017. So I'm going to take you right down the timeline and show you how this case evolved. And it's insane, at the least.
Oh, yeah.
Posted on Snapchat Wednesday was the last time anyone heard from 24-year-old Sydney Loofe.
She texted me and told me about the date she had went on the night before with this gal and how great it went, and she was excited to go on a date with her again.
Lincoln police confirm investigators have spoken to the woman Loofe was planning to meet, but no other details. Tara Gehring, a coworker from Menards, says they let Loofe's family know when she didn't show up to work Thursday.
She wouldn't do this to her family. She's respects her parents a lot.
So basically, they catfished her. They catfished her, kind of like what Garrett Kurtz did to Ray Hainish. But this person actually went on a date with her and began grooming her to eventually become part of this cult that was ran by a self-proclaimed vampire.
Loves her parents a lot.
Loofe's parents, George and Susie, tell us officers checked their daughter's place in Lincoln and that her SUV is still parked in the front. Investigators say they got leads that Loofe may have been in Wilbur, Nebraska since her disappearance.
That's very strange to all of us. It's also very strange that her phone's off and disabled. I mean, she was always on Snapchat posting stories.
Loofe's friends all over Nebraska are helping spread the word via flyers and social media.
I hurt for her family. Our whole community is really just, they've come together so well through all of this.
Loved ones also sharing photos of Loofe's
Frank.
tattoos, anything to get her home.
Sydney is a beautiful, young, responsible girl, and she has a lot of family that loves and cares about her, and we just need her home because we miss her.
Again, if you know anything, call Lincoln Police. If she's not found by this Wednesday, loved ones hope everyone will wear green to raise awareness for missing children. Reporting live, Chin.
Yeah, see, the sick part about this is this guy Trail, he would use his girlfriend, and she's not bad looking and she's very young. So if you're a young, good looking female who's interested in other females who are young around your same age, you might, swipe right or swipe left? You would say, cool, I like this person. Well, they actually hooked up on a date. And it went really well. She treated her well. She didn't talk about any of the, hey, I'm in this cult and I'm going to introduce you to the master. And I'm going to do what
Groomed her and lured
hey,
her.
Like they were bonding and they were getting to know each other and, and they were just hanging out. And she went home and she was extremely excited. She couldn't wait to go out on another date. But when she went out on the second date, that's when all the creepy shit started happening and was introduced to this piece of shit Trail.
Yeah, fuck him.
Good morning, Lincoln and Omaha.
Okay, let me go ahead and introduce this video here. Okay. So after that first video that I played aired, all these rumors started flowing around. Web sleuths started digging in. They started hacking the Tinders. They started, putting it all together. And it was them, not law enforcement, that found these two knuckleheads along with witnesses.
Shout out to the sleuths. They
family
found
members
them.
who were directing everybody. They set up Facebook pages. They did all this, and they were doing great work.
Got your ass.
Their names were getting dragged through the mud. And this is a video that they made publicly in their own defense after people started pointing this.
Some trippy ass shit, Holmes. This is some trippy ass shit, Holmes.
Murders, how we everybody's pointing fingers at people and they're like, well, these guys are super weird. Well, I thought it was strange because when you look at these guys and you listen to how they talk and the things that they do, the entire time they're acting innocent. They're like, hey, we didn't do anything, and they're talking
kind of like Richard Allen.
They sound nice, but the whole time that's the opposite from the truth. These guys had just dismembered a woman. So this is them on social media trying to defend themselves.
Probably several other places. This is Aubrey Trail, and this is Bailey Boswell. I guess y'all also know her as Audrey. But we've spent the last few days watching ourselves being slammed and crucified in the newspapers and the news and everything else, so we thought it was time we had our say. We're not trying to defend anything. We're not trying to make you believe anything. We just feel we should get to say our side since everyone else gets to say theirs.
Hey, Purdue.
Unlike the Lincoln Police Department and Saline County Police Department and all those folks, everything we're going to tell you, you're going to be able to pick up the phone or have a newspaper pick up the phone and very easily verify it.
It was Odinus.
I am going to talk for a minute.
Oh,
Bailey
nice.
here is going to tell you about her 2 dates with Sydney, and we'll go from there.
Look at this creepy girl.
The Lincoln Police Department apparently wants everyone to believe that.
Yeah, do me a
we're
favor, hit that
hiding,
thumbs
that
up
we
button.
haven't talked to them, that we're avoiding them. Actually, we've spoken to the Lincoln Police Department a couple of times. We also, through my attorney, Doug Mertz in Falls City, Nebraska, please verify, we both wrote long statements and sent to the Lincoln Police Department telling them everything we know. We also, the day before Thanksgiving, which
He kind of does remind me of BH a little bit, though. Just want to throw that out there.
would be the 22nd, we repeatedly called the Lincoln Police Department when they were trying to contact us. After about 10 phone calls, please have a newspaper, ask for they record everything. We were told to quit blowing up their phone, even though we told them, hey, do you understand that we're the people you're looking for? They said, you've called here several times. We will get back to you when we can. So that's how that went.
Good one, SP.
They're telling you that they have all these leads, that Sydney was last seen in Wilbur and such. What they're not telling you is that we are the 2 people who gave them all these leads. I called the Falls City Police Department because they went to my ex's
Did you hear
house.
that? So these guys came forward early on and were giving them all this information. Very interesting.
And looking for me, so I called to find out what was going on. Apparently, they did not know my address in Wilbur. They thought I still lived in Falls City. I talked to the sergeant there. I told him what my address was in Wilbur. That night, they went to my house and searched our house. We found out that on the 21st, I think it was, or the 20th, the county attorney in Wilbur, Saline County,
Yeah, me too,
filed a
Brad.
warrant against me for possession of a firearm, which is insane. I have never owned a firearm in 20 years.
I was waiting for
The
everybody to
next
wake
day, according to the papers, the warrant was withdrawn. But
Yeah,
the
she's
Lincoln
creepy.
paper is not
French.
telling you that the warrant was withdrawn because there was no firearm in my house. But they will have you believe that. Several other things. I guess the FBI and the U.S. Marshals and all that good stuff, and a lot of other people with a lot of
U.S.
initials
Marshals?
that I have no idea what means is investigating, looking for us or whatever.
So these guys are on the run, and guess who they bring in? The U.S. Marshals. Remember, that's what we saw a lot of during Richard Allen's press conference, right? We didn't see any FBI, really. So everybody's like, oh, they got thrown off the case. It's a conspiracy. No, you need the FBI mainly for crossing state lines and things like that, right? Most likely Kagan Klein, when he was in Las Vegas, that's why you saw a heavy FBI, because in order to get that information, they would need the FBI. So
We were at our house 4 days ago. No one showed up. We were in Wilbur. We've been to Wilbur twice. We have a young lady with us for a week, which is Bailey's sometimes
these are all
girlfriend.
lies, by the way. Lies.
The Omaha police started calling her phone, telling her pretty much that she's in danger with
yep,
us.
a facade.
So we took her home the day before Thanksgiving. She was with us when Bailey and I were trying to call the Lincoln Police Department. She can verify this if you want her name. I guess friend us in messages on Facebook, because as we know stuff, you will know stuff, because we're not cutting, editing, or anything.
The arrogance. That's what I want everybody to kind of witness from this, right? From all this, the arrogance of this right here.
Very arrogant.
Knowing
We're going to get
that
away
they're
with
guilty.
it. We're going to get away with it.
If we make a slip on this video and say something that you find incriminating, please let us know. And You've already crucified us in the newspapers. You've already crucified us on
Aw.
Facebook. You know, in America, I sure thought it was a
Innocent
trial
until
first,
proven
but I guess
guilty.
not. You've heard all of this stuff about my criminal history. All true. Been convicted of bad checks and
When I first heard this, he kind of sounded like that Byers guy from the West Memphis 3 case, the stepfather, the guy who had his teeth replaced and kind of a strange guy. And he had those guns, and he was just there were what type of guns were those? They were like black powder guns. And he was talking about how if you use these guns to kill somebody, you know, you
That's
can't
how she
pull the
looks.
ballistics from it. He kind of sounds like this guy.
Surgery and all that good stuff, but never been convicted of anything like I guess I'm a person of interest on now. And oh yeah, the Lincoln Police Department failed to tell you that me and Bailey do about
Shonda, I can't
$100,000 a
tell.
year business in antiques
Honestly.
on eBay, the antique malls in Lincoln,
Exactly.
Omaha, all this stuff. They will have you believe that I'm still just a criminal running around. But you know, I don't really need to explain all of that because, as far as I know, I'm
There's a
not
sighting.
wanted for anything.
Yeah, he's
I'm
a freak.
person of interest.
Both of them are
And I'm
freaks.
not really running from anything. I mean, naturally, I can't go home now because my house has been swarmed, searched, and I'm being looked for. But and I assume that I have a warrant out of state somewhere now, so that kind of cancels that out. So
I don't
this
know,
is
Digital.
pretty much costing my life
A little bit, Marbles.
and I appreciate that.
I was
from the
looking at
Lincoln
'em.
Police Department and the FBI and all those other agencies. But I pray for Sydney. I hope she's found soon. I wish the family
That made my
the
blood
best.
boil.
I'm sorry that she wasn't with you on
Oh
Thanksgiving.
man.
Did you hear him?
And
I'm not an
miss
angry
her.
person.
Did you hear what he said? He said, I hope that she's found. Now, this is the guy who has since confessed to strangling her.
That's
But
all I
that
can
gets me
say for
close.
now. Here's Bailey to tell you whatever she wants to. I'm fixing to step aside and get out of this.
Perp 2.
Thank you for listening.
Hi, good morning. I'm Bailey,
I'm a
Audrey on
hacker.
Tinder, and a few other names because I have warrants, but this really isn't about me. This is about Sydney. And
See, this is the part that kind of scared me. This evil man sent this young person out to lure in his victims. If that's not terrifying, I don't know what is. I mean, you don't need some huge sex trafficking ring for some guy to decide he's going to start doing it himself through his cult, right?
I'm just kind of want to tell you what I've already told the Lincoln Police more than one time. I met her on a Tuesday. We drove around Lincoln, smoked weed, had a great time. We hit it off. I dropped her off at home.
You think so?
Picked her up the next night at her house. We drove around,
What's up,
smoked
TTM?
weed again, made our way to my house where we smoked wax and shatter, and I gave her a 1/4 ounce of some really good weed. I went to take her home, and she asked me
You know, all the things a respectable girl would appreciate.
to drop her off at a friend's house, so I did so. I gave her my number.
That's
We
crazy,
were
Marbles.
planning to go to the casino that weekend. I mean, I haven't heard from her since.
All lies.
I really don't even know what else to say. I've been
Now, remember, these are the things that they would be saying while speaking to their defense attorneys, right? And because defense attorneys have crossed that moral line in the sand, they're more than willing to listen and to jump aboard. You know, they're happy to hear this argument. Give me something that I can latch onto. So it's your job to believe your client, right? As a defense attorney. All right, I'm here. That's what you hired me for. Not only did you hire me to believe you, But now I'm going to go ahead and try to get you off of this crime that you may or may not be guilty for, right? But you hired me to believe you. That's part of my job.
Seeing all this stuff on the news presses and the magazines and the news and
just a quick update here for you guys who just stepped in. So Sydney Loofe was murdered on November 15th,
black eye.
2017. This video
Boxers
statement
they
they're
wear 'em
making
too.
was done on November 29th of 2017.
I guess I just want the family to know that I'm truly sorry and I didn't have anything to do with this, and I hope that Sydney is found very soon. She is a sweet, amazing girl.
These are the people that killed
I
her.
don't know. Babe, do you have anything else to say?
I hope also that Sydney's found soon. We wish the family the best. We're sorry you're going through this.
She called him
As far
babe.
as all this stuff that the police department is putting in the papers, putting on the news, what they're feeding to the media, what they want the media to know, there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing she can do about that, because the police department is going to do what suits them best. Yeah, I know that's coming from a criminal, so, you know, you'll believe what you will as far as the police department is concerned. But as far
Okay, so if that video, I guess, statement, we can call it, if that wasn't enough, the following day, Aubrey Trail decides to go ahead and make another statement on his social media, and not only post it to all of his Facebook friends, but to post it to Sydney Loofe's family and friends.
Jeez.
And shared it on everything
Doubling
that they
down.
were using to help find her. So this is what he posted.
folks, Aubrey Trail here. Few little things I want to talk about. I've been watching all day. I just watched the news. That's why I'm making this. First thing I want to clarify is the news just reported that our contact with the police in Lincoln never took place.
Yeah,
Well,
very
let me
gross.
assure you that it did. Bailey spoke with investigator Cleveland twice. I called on the 22nd. I called the investigator's phone and left messages about 4 times. I called the Lincoln Police Department, the dispatchers, about 8 times. As far as this is not on record, I guarantee you it's on record. It's on Bailey's Tinder phone. It'll be on their phones. I know for a fact she spoke with them twice, at least. I never talked to Saline County Police Department. Never said I did. I spoke with the sergeant at the Falls City, which is Richardson County Police Department.
That's a good point. French 6290 says criminals are so stupid. They always incriminate themselves by talking too much. And later on in this live stream, you're going to see one of the main investigators mention that that both of them incriminated themselves and provided information about themselves that law enforcement had not yet gathered.
Dummies.
Basically proof that they were with the victim at a certain time and their whereabouts. So that's funny that you said that.
Because they went to my ex-wife's house asking for me. So I called them and I informed them where I now live. So if we're going to talk, let's try to get it straight. I mean, the police can say or do what they want, as I can, so you'll believe what you believe. But I've been watching a lot of posts and comments today. So far today, from the comments,
Bye, D.
we have apparently murdered this lady. We have apparently put her into human trafficking.
Agreed.
And sold her. And not only did we do that, we used the money. We went to the casino that weekend and used the money that we sold her.
What? At what point did you shoot the clerk?
I shot the clerk.
Yes, when did you shoot him?
I shot the clerk.
Hey, Dean, you need you.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget the one that I was in Falls City. I lived in Falls City for a long time. So I have some connection to the Rulo cult because people heard all about that. And just out of curiosity, is it me, or I guess it's just me and, my criminal mind, how that works?
Yeah.
The post we made this morning was deleted from the family's Facebook.
Let's go to the chat real quick. Anthony says, very arrogant. I was thinking the exact same thing. This arrogance and how dare you accuse me? I'm going to double down on my innocence. So now I got to act extra cocky. That's what guilty people who don't give a shit about what they've done, that's what they do. Connie, what's up? Good to see you. Marbles. Wow. Yeah, this case is insane.
Totally understandable. My whole Facebook and Bailey's whole Facebook page was deleted. The video was taken off by the feds or whoever took it off. Just curious, are we not allowed to tell our side of this?
Hi, Tammy.
Attorneys that we didn't cooperate with the officers in Lincoln. My attorney is Doug Mertz, M-E-R.
Right, Chickpea? I think your blood is boiling just as bad as mine. Every time he mentions the family, like, why would you, knowing that you killed this girl, be on that Facebook?
Cold-blooded.
So regardless if they're connected to Delphi or anything, this should give us some insight to what that killer could be doing. It may not be as mysterious as we think. I mean, we're looking at this guy, we're looking at him and his girlfriend, and they look guilty and they seem guilty. But they're like, oh no, like we didn't do anything. You don't have any proof. And then there'll be some people out there that are like, well, don't accuse how can you accuse these people, and things like that. But look at them. This guy doesn't look like a killer to me. He sounds like one, but he doesn't look like one.
Falls City, Nebraska. He is not only my attorney, he is the county attorney there. Feel free to contact him.
Go ahead and call Bradley Rosie.
Me in pretty much everything when I need.
He'll tell you everything.
I send him mine and Bailey's statement. By now, the Lincoln Police Department should have those statements.
Okay, so in regards to my earlier question, I was like, what do you guys think about the voice in the comparison to our voice sample from Liberty's phone? Repo Recon says his accent's too thick to be BG.
That's what Marble said.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't even done any type of comparisons yet. I really wanted to hear what you guys had to say first.
Bailey, like I said, talked to Officer Cleveland twice. Told him pretty much everything that we have told you today on the video. Someone also made the comment that Bailey said Sydney was this and was that. Folks, go back and review the video. It can't be changed. It can't be edited.
Hey, Never Silent, how are you?
All of the stuff that you're saying was said. It's not been said. Maybe we didn't watch the same video. Maybe you didn't watch the video we made. But a lot of the stuff you're saying that was said is nowhere in that video. Someone posted that I said that Sydney was with us for a week, but Bailey said that she dropped her off at a friend. Watch the video. That girl's...
Yeah, what the fuck? My left nut hurt said BG's voice is so distorted, though. It's hard to tell. Yeah. So you got to be careful. You don't want to come out and just be like, no, like it doesn't match the audio, so therefore it's not the guy. You know what I mean? There's so many variables. So, yeah, but I don't.
Yeah.
Right away, I was like, man, that sounds like the guy. That sounds like the guy we're looking for. So, but that is a good point.
Her name was Katie that was with us for a week. The Omaha Police Department started questioning about her, saying she was in deep trouble because she was with us. So we took her home on the 22nd. The 22nd is the day that we blew up the Lincoln Police Department.
Not even close.
Phone, trying to get someone to talk to us. 3
Hey,
minutes
Richard.
turned into 3 hours that they were supposed to call us back. And of course, again, I'm just a criminal, so you're going to believe none of this. And I guess it's really irrelevant because we've pretty much decided to turn ourselves in and see where this goes. Because now we're seeing on the news the people of Wilbur are terrified.
Yeah, Richard was right.
Because I guess we're guilty by association, which is fine.
And they should be
because I've never made an
terrified.
excuse for anything I've done in my life. I do what I do.
What's up, Frederica?
During the amount of time, I would even say about a week prior to them catfishing or setting up Sydney Loofe, they attempted to kill 2 other people.
Be it, if I'm a thief, I'm a thief. But I'd be goddamned, I've never killed anyone in my life. I've never hurt a female in my life. So take that for whatever the hell it's worth. But
He keeps going
listen
like
to
this.
some of your comments. Listen to what you're saying. Just sit back and read what you're writing. You've got us. You
Let's
know
examine
nothing about us
what a liar looks
except
like.
that I have a criminal history. You use me saying that Bailey and I make a lot of money on
He
antiques
has a lazy eye too.
as me bragging. I was simply
What's up,
saying
you
it to
animal?
show you that I'm no longer with the criminal activity, and I
Yeah,
run
he
a
could be
legitimate
making it
business now. Yes, I
sound
have
a little bit
warrants,
different. Guilty
but
people do
I've
that
had
shit.
warrants for years. I've got a warrant in Minnesota that's been there for 12
Hey, Tammy.
years. The pistol, let's address that so it doesn't.
Teresita says, I wouldn't be surprised if he's connected some way. That just reminded me of another reason. He made a comment. Well, actually, somebody testified in court that he was making comments that, and this is the same witness that mentions him talking about torturing people on film and selling it, basically making snuff films. Yeah, this is the same guy. And he was basically, oh, wait, hold on.
Look like I
Hold
was
that thought.
lying.
I gotta let
Read
my
the
dog out.
Omaha World Herald ad of, I think it was 3 days ago. It plainly states in there that a warrant was issued because of a firearm found, and that the warrant was withdrawn on the 22nd. That's where I got that information, but God forbid, I listen to newspapers, I guess, but it seems everyone else.
Okay. So this witness testified basically that he would talk about setting up pedophiles. He's like, we're only going to target pedophiles and in our schemes and stuff like that. So it clicked in my head. It's like, man, if he's somehow on the other end of a Dropbox account and he sees maybe somebody like a Kagan Klein as a patsy, that's a stretch. But I mean, I
Bit
think
of a stretch
with
there.
this type of case,
2022 me.
I think that might be what's going on, is something that is a stretch, a long shot, so to speak.
Maybe.
Does. I don't know what else to say. I guess you'll find out what you find out at the press conference tomorrow. But naturally,
Maybe
someone
old sleuth,
commented
maybe.
that we weren't being crucified in the paper, but we would be now, that this has not helped our cause at all. And you may be right. But we don't have a lot to hide. I mean, transparency, we don't have much to tell. Someone wanted to know what friend Bailey dropped Sydney off with. Bailey knew Sydney for 2 days. How the hell does she know?
Yeah,
Now
me
she's
too.
now she's stoned on drugs, out of her mind. What is she doing messing with a 51-year-old man? Does that really have any relevance of this? And oh yeah, thanks for the comment about I'm not very intelligent and I'm stupid and all this. Appreciate that.
The trolls.
Your opinion.
Good point, Anna.
Think what you want. Do what you want. The officers in this investigation have the people of Woolver scared to death. They don't understand. They didn't know that people like us were.
Well, yeah, we
living
know
next
that
to
now.
them.
Hey, Redhead, how you
What the
doing?
hell is people like us? People with criminal histories? Did you check my criminal history? Forgery.
This guy's
Bad
like a
checks,
bobblehead.
Theft. That's it.
He's got his crazy
not
eyes.
saying I'm a nice guy. I'm a crook. I'm a thief. Have been all my life. Okay? But I'm not what you're trying to make me out to be. And the last thing, I guess, is you were uncertain as to whether or not it was me and Bailey in the video. It was absolutely us. And she's going to show you some of her tattoos so you know it's her. And someone said her hair is a different color. So what?
Yeah,
The
big
online
deal.
sleuths
And
picking
someone
everything
said
apart.
no
like,
lawyer in their out there would say, don't turn yourself in. Actually, all the lawyers say, don't turn yourself in, don't talk to the police, don't do this, don't do that. But we've pretty much decided to turn ourselves in because we've pretty much been convicted anyway. And if we keep running, I guess maybe it's going to look bad for you. But, hey, we don't want to go to jail. I sure as hell don't want to go to jail on some
Exactly,
gun
Humanimal.
charge, but looks like that's what's going to happen. But I'll be goddamned if I'm going to stand here and be accused of doing something to someone you pretty much blatantly said
What's up, Emily?
that we murdered this girl. You
Nope,
blatantly
just got some
said
water
that we've
What's up, Dan?
sold her into
with
some
a
kind
squirt
of
of some
trafficking.
energy stuff.
This is just, it's ridiculous. It's ludicrous.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yep, gaslighting 100.
Yeah, look at the arrogance on these guys, especially him. Aubrey Trail is that man's name. I don't know if he wants the spotlight. Hello, dances, by the way. I don't know if he wants the spotlight or if he thinks he could just talk his way out of it. It's like, oh, if I just keep talking, just like all these other girls, they'll just do what I say. Yeah, he did get the death penalty. Yeah, he's on death row. I don't know if he's still alive. He was alive at the end of 2021. Or, yeah. Yeah, it couldn't hurt, Ben. Good to see you. From what I understand, the scenes.
Posting the news to Facebook.
The scenes.
Sutton Monday after
Traveling across, talking about murder and ritual. I kind of wanted to talk about this. They say there's evidence of foul play, or we are calling this a homicide. There's signs of foul play. There was more than signs of foul play. Her body was dismembered in 14 pieces and found all separately.
Yeah, why do they do that when they talk to media?
Look at the way that law enforcement communicates with the public.
Like with Delphi, they said, we are treating this like a homicide. Like, what do you mean? Aren't you treating this like a madman running around killing kids and leaving strange crime scenes? Like, I don't know. Just the way they word it is very strange.
Versus the reality behind the scenes.
posting the news to Facebook around 9 o'clock Monday night. It's with heavy hearts that we share this most recent update with you all. It reads, "Please continue to pray for Sydney and our entire family." Investigators say the two persons of interest in the case, Aubrey Trail and Bailey Boswell, are in the Saline County Jail.
By their own statements on social media, we believe that Aubrey Trail and Bailey Boswell were two of the last people to have known to been with Sydney prior to her disappearance.
That means this investigation is far from over. Police telling us around 40 law enforcement officers were on the ground in Clay County today, continuing to search for clues. Camilla Ortiz, KETV Newswatch 7.
Admitted thief, 51-year-old Aubrey Trail.
You guys see that hat?
He's looking like Rex Heuermann.
Right around the time he was coming in and out of Indiana.
His last name, Trails, is very fitting because he leaves a trail of victims wherever he goes.
Trail, who's a person of interest in the death of Sydney Loofe, says he's no killer, but his run of scams at antique shows and malls is coming to light, and it's a long, expensive one. Good evening, I'm Craig DeGrelli.
And I'm Jennifer Griswold. Trail and 23-year-old Bailey Boswell are both in the Saline County Jail, held on unrelated federal charges. So far, investigators have not charged them in the Loofe case. Only on 3, reporter Megan Hahn on a con man and his crimes.
Yep,
Aubrey
Indiana.
Trail has an extensive rap sheet of forgery-related crimes, leaving a trail of victims across the country, one of which is right here in Percival, Iowa, at Finders Keepers
Iowa.
Antique Mall.
I was pleasant to him. He was pleasant to me. He seemed friendly.
On a warm Sunday in July, a man claiming to be in the antique business wrote a check for a set of sterling silver flatware at Finders Keepers Antique Mall.
Yeah, that's his scam, is antiques. So he travels and he has his little crew, his little Manson family. They'll go and steal items and stuff, and they'll sell them as antiques. And I think they write bad checks and sell stolen property and stuff like that.
7 years would pass before the man who bounced that check, Aubrey Trail, would become a person of interest in the murder of Sidney Loofe.
He's your con man. He is the con man extraordinaire. If there's one thing Aubrey Trails knows, and that's how to lie.
Alicia Crastiel, owner of the antique mall, spoke with Trail that July day in 2010.
Very.
She says he visited the shop several times, building up a friendly repertoire
What's up,
before
true
writing
crime
a
and other
fraudulent
stuff? Welcome.
check for nearly $2,700 that couldn't be cashed.
I remember when I got that check, I just felt like right after he left the door, I kind of had a, feeling in the pit of my stomach like, there's something just don't add up with this guy. And that's why I called the
giving me
bank on Monday
vampire
morning, because I
vibes.
normally wouldn't have done that for, a check.
Crastiel pressed charges, but law enforcement didn't catch up with Trail until a year later in Arkansas, where he was running a similar scam. Iowa court records show he took a plea deal related
Good one, Dances. Good one.
to the Percival case in November 2010 and was sentenced to 5 years for second-degree theft.
His last name, Trails,
What's up?
is very
Anything I
fitting
like.
because he leaves a trail of
Hello,
victims
hello.
wherever he goes.
Crastiel says she's frustrated that she was never notified when
Trails.
Trail was released from prison, adding that his alleged pattern of crime following his release is no surprise.
I don't know why he's able to continue to do this, why they don't just lock him up for good.
I don't know, Vanessa. I know that Bailey Boswell has a bunch of tattoos. I'm not sure about him.
Crastiel says Trail was ordered to pay restitution to Finders Keepers Antique Mall. He's only paid about a couple $100, and she says she received the last check in February. Reporting in Percival, Iowa, I'm Megan Hahn,
February.
3 News Now.
Trail and Bailey Boswell, the two persons of interest in the disappearance and death of Sidney Loofe. Charges of first-degree murder and improper disposal of human skeletal remains were filed yesterday in Saline County. Sidney Loofe, a 24-year-old Menards clerk from Lincoln, disappeared in November after arranging a date over the internet with Boswell. Trail and Boswell soon went to Facebook to deny any involvement, but after weeks of searching, Loofe's body was found in rural Clay County near Edgar, Nebraska in December. She died of suffocation. But then, back in late January, Trail confessed to the murder to our partners at the Omaha World Herald and a Lincoln TV station.
Killed Sidney Loofe, and am fully responsible for her death. Sidney Loofe was not kidnapped by physical or electronic means.
This is going to be Richard Allen before too long.
Bailey Boswell had nothing to do with the death of Sidney Loofe. She was in the house it happened in, but was not in the room when Sidney died.
Lies.
For months, Aubrey Trail has been demanding prosecutors charge him with murder, even saying he should be put to death. If convicted, the two could face life in prison. They are scheduled to appear in court later today.
Details in the death of Sidney Loofe and also says that the killing was premeditated and not an accident, as Aubrey Trail has previously stated. A Saline County court judge denied bond for Aubrey Trail and Bailey Boswell in the death of Sidney Loofe from November of 2017. The criminal complaint says that Trail acknowledged that he strangled Loofe to death with an extension cord. He also said that Boswell assisted in cleaning up the crime scene.
Sounds a lot like Garrett Kurtz, another sicko.
And assisted in
Tamara, how you doing? That was my same thought. I was like, this can't be the only one. Especially with everything coming out of his mouth. It's just pure lies.
disposing of Loofe's body. Her body was found in December in rural Clay County. The court documents also say that body parts were found in several different trash bags in Clay County.
Let's go to the chat real quick. Frederica says, I hope something happens with the Richard Allen case because it's getting dark. Well, they have to create a big enough argument if they're going to expect any kind of a deal. The bigger the argument and the bigger the hill they can create for the prosecution to go over, the better deal they're going to get. And the second that there's no more cards to be played in the Thunderdome, you know, that's what this is right now. It's a Thunderdome. The defense knows that their trial will be on social media, and to kind of have an influence on public opinion, that's the only hope they have. And they don't care if Richard Allen is guilty or innocent. Their goal is to win this case. It will be tremendous for their futures, and it would just be tremendous for them in general. They have no intention of losing this case, but they do not give a shit whether Richard Allen is guilty or innocent. But they don't plan to lose this case at all.
Nature of the case, any pretrial publicity can come back to hurt us, so we will not be making any statements about the case at this point in time.
The court documents also say that surveillance video from a Home Depot show Boswell and Trail buying what prosecutors say are supplies and tools for killing Loofe before she even disappeared. Coming up in our later shows, we're going to tell you what this means going forward if the death penalty is likely. Reporting from Saline County, Jake Wazakowski.
Let's bring that part back.
Disappeared
to death with an extension
To hurt us, so we will not be making any statements about the case at this point in time.
Listen to this
The court
part.
documents also say that surveillance video from a Home Depot show Boswell and Trail buying what prosecutors say are supplies and tools for killing Loofe.
Supplies to kill her before she even went missing, before she even met up with these people. They were already buying those tools and these items that they were going to be, that they would use later in her murder.
Before she even disappeared. Coming up in our later shows, we're going to tell you what this means going forward if the death penalty is likely. Reporting from Saline County, Jake Wazakowski.
Shut that was loud. So he apparently cut his own throat while in the middle of his trial. And later on in some of these videos, you can see the nasty scar. Dang, we are out of time. Let me play these two videos before we go. Where did I put those?
Aubrey Trail trial. Trail takes the stand, recanting his entire story of how Sidney Loofe died.
Yeah, it was Trail's first appearance in court since he slashed his neck 2 weeks ago. KATV News Watch 7's Andrew Ozaki has tonight's big story.
But first, we do want to warn you, some of the material in the case may not be suitable for younger audiences.
Shackled in handcuffs and with visible marks on the right side of his neck, Aubrey Trail appeared in court for the first time since his outburst 2 weeks ago. Against his attorney's advice, he took the stand and said the story he told to investigators and his own attorneys was a lie.
It was only me, Bailey, and Sidney there the night Sidney died, and I'll get into how.
Right there, I was like, man, look at him.
What happened, I guess.
Familiar.
But no, there was no two other girls there. There was no sexual fantasy. There was no $15,000 paid for a sexual fantasy.
Prosecutors believe Trail and Bailey Boswell lured 24-year-old Sidney Loofe on a Tinder date in November of 2017, killed her and disposed of her dismembered body in fields in Clay County. Trail also says they knew Loofe months before the Tinder date, and they were trying to get her to come back to their group by offering her help financially. Trail still maintains Loofe died accidentally during rough sex.
I mean, I am the one that caused Sidney's death. I mean, I'm the one that choke Sydney.
As her trails claim he had a deeper relationship with Loofe, 2 employees of the Grand Weaver Hotel in Fall City previously testified they saw Loofe with Trail and Boswell in the late spring or summer of 2017.
How certain are you that it was Sydney Loofe that you saw?
100%.
When asked why the jury should believe him now after so many lies,
I don't really care what you believe. I mean, this is what happened. Can't nothing change that. I can't bring Sydney Loofe back. I killed her. I mean, I didn't mean to, but I did.
In Wilbur, Andrew Ozaki, Kate.
Jeez. All right, guys, we are out of time. We're going to finish up here with true crime and other stuff. Good comment. Do you think Richard Allen will try something like that? Always thought he might off himself. Yes, I think he would. At the very opportunity. He does not want to face this. If he's guilty, right? That could explain everything. Not once have we seen Richard Allen say that I did not do this. I'm an innocent man. Instead, he looks like, oh my God, this is everything I've feared. For the last 6.5 years, this is what I've been fearing. It's 10 times worse than I ever could have imagined. But I've prepared for this. You know, I have intimate crime scene details. Nobody has more case information than me. I am the killer, right? That's what Richard Allen's thinking. He has all of the intimate details. He knows if he's guilty of this crime, he has information that the most inside investigators could only dream of. And that's why he did it and who else helped and who else was involved. And he can explain that crime scene. But I hope you guys enjoyed that replay. We might do that from time to time. I figure while I'm doing things that are going to be taking up like about an hour of time, might as well go live and hang out. So I thought that was interesting. You guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I got some things I got to take care of. Maybe I'll see you a little bit later. Take care.